Hey guys, so this is my second time trying to film this video. I tried to do it earlier, but my mind was just kind of scattered and I was at work, so I don't know. Anyone who records messages or not messages, videos and stuff knows that sometimes it takes a couple times for the message to come through accurately and clearly. So I'm just lighting some sage. I need to get my torch. All right. So something has been coming up for me a lot. And good thing I have my robe over here. So this shit is not messing up my mattress. Not my mattress, my comforter. So there's been a lot of thought processes and messages for me and things that people are bringing up to me and asking me in the last couple months surrounding love, self-sabotage, self-care and self-love, as well as ways to just liberate yourself and feel free and able to do what you want to do, what you feel called to do, so I tried to do a message earlier while I was at work, but it didn't really work out. I think the energy wasn't right. So what I came on here to say, and I told myself I would make notes, and I didn't. I want to touch on, first question, or first thought process. How do I stop self-sabotaging myself? The woman that asked me this is older than me, and she suffers with health issues and things of that nature. And she knows what she should be doing, but she doesn't do it. And she has a hard time taking the advice of her doctors or of other people, and it's just from a general distrust. And what I told her was I would need to think about it, and I'd have to get back to you. Because at that time, and this is how spirit works, you get questions that you know the answer to. You've been pondering it yourself, and yet it's like, and this is how life works, not just spirit, but I meant spirit works in the fact or in the way that this is something I had been pondering and working on, not necessarily pondering like I didn't know the answer, but working on self-sabotage. And self-sabotage can have a very negative connotation, but it's very simple. You do things you know you should not do, that you know is not in your best interest. You're self-sabotaging yourself, and that's just facts. There's no way around it. You're doing things that pushes you back, and no one's doing it to you but you. You know you shouldn't do it. You know it doesn't benefit you. You know it's not for your highest good. And yet you still do it. Why? Because you're not disciplined. Because you're not mentally and emotionally connected to your highest self, your highest good, and grounded and connected within that so that you can move forward from a place that is in your own best interest. So I say all that to say I want to be clear. This is not weed where I live. That's not legal, and it's not okay for me to do that with the job that I work. These are herbs, legal herbs. So practically the equivalent of smoking incense or something, but just very relaxing. So I lost my train of thought because my son was knocking on the door. So self-sabotage. The way you would prevent yourself from self-sabotaging yourself would be to have habits and plans in place to hinder that action. So what do I mean by that? Most of the time your self-sabotage is a pattern. You do it all the time. It's something that you do because you're fearful. And I would say that the first step to not self-sabotaging would be to very simply ask yourself, what are you afraid of? What's scaring you? And from there, identifying your goals. What are you trying to do? What do you want to accomplish? Where are you trying to go? Then you can make an action plan. You can say, I want to go here. You have to address the fear first. That's number one. Whether that be through affirmation work, meditation, journaling, or just talking it through with yourself. Sometimes you need to light your ass up. Like, you need to be hard on yourself. You need to give yourself some tough love. Like, stop doing that shit. Stop doing that to yourself. You're better than that. You deserve better. Don't you want the goal, whatever that may be? Sometimes you have to remind yourself, like, how bad do I want it? You know, how bad do I want that? And then from there, you make that plan, you make that goal, and you know that certain things trigger you. And that's when you self-sabotage. So from there, that's when you come up with your plan. When I'm feeling this way and I'm going to do this, whatever that may be, that self-sabotages you. X. Okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this. And so you make a plan for yourself. It's like a fire escape route. Should things go wrong, this is the route I'm going to take. You know, so that's the first part. The other part of self-sabotage is feeling that you are worthy, that you are ready to call in that goal or that end result that you seek. What it is that you desire, that you're going after. What do you want? A lot of times we self-sabotage that shit because we don't feel like we deserve it, like we are worthy of it. And my shit went out. There's a lot of people that have issues with that. They don't feel like they deserve it. They don't love themselves to know what they want, to know what they deserve, where they want to go, what they want to accomplish, where they want to go, who they want to become. What is your vision? That's an important question. What is your vision? And you need to address that shit. Why do you not feel worthy? There can be a lot of reasons. It's complicated. It's all complicated. It could be from childhood. It can be from something as simple as a relationship that became very toxic. But at the end of the day, you have to realize shit that happened in your childhood in a bad relationship was for your benefit. It was for you. It was to grow you. And we all choose this life that we live for a very specific purpose. So a lot of people ask, why? Why me? Why this? The reason why is because it is linked to your life purpose. And you cannot grasp your purpose if you don't take the time to really analyze the shit that really hurt you, your lessons, and think, like, how do I make lemonade out of these lemons? Is that the right term? The right phrase? When life gives you lemons, make lemonade. You have to look at how it benefits you, how it serves you, how it can serve other people. That's how you're able to find your purpose and find your voice and move forward in your purpose, feeling as though, okay, I know where I'm going. And with that comes addressing the self-sabotage, addressing the fact that you do deserve it. You are worth it. You are enough. And what happened for you in your relationships, in your experiences in the past, was to teach you something, as well as teaching the person that you feel did it to you. They learned something in it as well, whether you think so, whether it's apparent to you or not. They don't have to disclose to you that they learned a lesson. That's not for you. That's for them. And so you need to detach yourself from the healing of someone else. Worry about yourself. Mind your own business. That's your business. Nobody else's. Your lessons are for you. And shit. Who wants to deal with anybody else's shit? I mean, it's already a lot as it is. I don't know about y'all. In the beginning stages, all you really need to worry about is your own lessons, what you're learning, how to move forward, how to not self-sabotage yourself so that you can rise in your purpose and do what you're here to do. To wake up in the morning and feel fulfilled, to feel full, to feel like that extension of love that you are. So, that moves me forward in addressing the fact that be mindful of your triggers. Certain things, certain words, certain actions will trigger you and make you feel a way. If you take yourself out of your emotions and how you feel, you can take a step back and ask yourself, like, why is that triggering me? Why is that making me feel a way right now? Why am I so bothered? You know, because I don't care who you are. There are things that trigger and bother everybody. It don't matter who you are. And that's for a reason. It's to teach you a lesson. Like, for example, someone who got offended or felt a way about one of the posts that I shared last week. You can't fix your mouth to tell anybody to do or not do something on something that is there. This is my platform. So, as I said to this young woman, if you are offended or triggered by something on my profile, that is not my concern. That's a personal problem for you to figure out how and in what way you can heal from that. That's not my concern. Nor should it be. If anything, I am helping you. Because before then, she hadn't realized that it triggered her. She'd comment that something in the post seemed condescending. And she brought her own personal emotions and experiences to the post and made it into something that it wasn't. So that just goes to show how much your perspective and your experiences can shape the way you view things that it may have nothing to do with your experience. You know, like, for example, if you feel something sounds condescending, I would say, why does that make you feel inferior or smaller in any way? That brings up the idea that you feel as though you may not be enough, that you're not appreciating your place in your journey, which is something to be addressed because we are all on our own journey. We have our own separate purposes, and it's not a race. What one does and what another does is two completely separate things. It may achieve the same thing, it may achieve different things. That's nobody's business but their own. As long as they are walking and doing what they feel is best for them, that's all that matters. I feel like I'm missing something right now. I think this was going to lead me to love. I think that was the last portion. So, love. We all end up in relationships, friendships, romantic relationships, or what have you. Our parental relationships, familial connections, for a reason. It's important to understand that each of those relationships teach us something. They show us something. And it may be many things, it may be one thing. It doesn't matter, as long as you grow from it. And once you reach the point where there's no value, where you maybe, perhaps this person is toxic, perhaps it's not that it's toxic yet, but just that you guys maybe don't feel the need to talk anymore. There's no connection. That's a signal that what was intended to be taught in that relationship has come into fruition and is done. So moving forward doesn't need to be sad, but it needs to be recognized that your action to move forward is crucial to your growth. I stopped the other video because I got a notification on my phone, like it wasn't going to save the video or something. I hope it did. But what I was saying was, realizing the end of a relationship, the disconnection between you and another person, is crucial to your own growth, no matter what aspect that may be. Because when that lesson has already been taught, you've already grasped the lesson, you cannot keep old things that are no longer serving you and then expect to still receive new things. It's like being able to throw trash in a trash can that's already full. It's waste now. It's full. You need to take it out and remove it so you can put a new trash bag in. More waste can be put in, obviously. This is life. We all know this. So that's just an example. But in a relationship, romantic, for example, we oftentimes love this person more than we love ourselves. And then we feel like something is missing and don't know what. What's missing is your own self-love. The attention you should be paying to yourself. Because if they're worth it, you should be extending your worth and your vision, your feeling, your belief, your knowing that you are worthy, that you are enough to them. If you feel that they are worth it and you are not, essentially it's almost like you're faking this emotion and action towards this person. It's not truly stemming from a place of love. It's stemming from a place of lack, of ego, of unconnectedness, ungroundedness. You're not connected truly to yourself. And so you're not, that it's like static between your guys' connection. Taking the time to care for yourself and do things for yourself that is for your highest interest. Communicating with that person on what you need, what you expect from them. Especially if you have started from a foundation where maybe you guys both didn't love each other. You guys really need to take that time to heal and work on yourselves. It doesn't mean you guys necessarily have to break up. I guess it depends on the relationship. But I know from the book that I'm reading, and it makes a lot of sense to me, the Learning to Love book. I know y'all have seen it tagged in my post by now. But they talk about how physical separation is necessary when healing. Because at the end of the day, it's hard to focus on yourself and something else at the same time. We live in this society where multitasking is so trendy and you should be able to multitask and shit like that. But at the end of the day, you multitasking takes away from the focus. The focus is you. You cannot give from an empty cup. And at the end of the day, that's what it's about. You cannot pour into someone else's cup if your cup is empty. What are you giving them? You are sharing your emptiness, your unconnectedness. And being that they are probably doing the same, you guys each have this unconnected feeling like something is missing. Waking up every morning feeling like something is missing. And you distract yourself with social media and seeking validation, gratification, attention, other connections outside of your relationship. Cheating. This is all of that are other ways of noting cheating. It's not just cheating, but I'm just saying cheating is one of those things, because you have this emptiness in this relationship. He's supposed to be whole, you're supposed to be whole, and you guys come together to make a vehicle that can move forward. And when people look at it as my half, your half, and we're a whole, that's not really what it's about. That's why there feels like there's this disconnectedness, because it's like a half and a half. You should be whole, he should be whole. That's it. Because if not, you guys are trying to fill voids that you can't fulfill yourself. You cannot expect someone to give something to you that you cannot give to yourself. It doesn't work that way. You need to be able to fulfill that for yourself. It doesn't really work any other way. You're going to have this feeling of a void, and most times in a relationship, you will continuously blame your partner and say it's them, when really it's you. But you haven't matured and held yourself accountable enough to fully understand and grasp the fact that the work needs to be done in you. You need to break away from the chains of your insecurities, of your fearfulness, of your shame, of your feeling of unworthiness, your issues of self-love. Self-love is this, and feeling like I'm not enough, I'm not worthy, it's me, is the root of many issues, not just within a relationship, personal as well. You don't realize the value and the love you come from. And so you deplete yourself and you give yourself away. And this is, I'm not saying men don't do this, but as a woman right now, I'm speaking to the women who give themselves freely and openly to men just to be walked all over, used up, tossed aside, and belittled, abused, etc. And then they blame themselves. And some may say that this is where accountability comes in. You have to respect and love yourself in order to expect someone else, especially your partner, to love and respect you. And once you guys have been together for a while and there's this unbalanced, she doesn't love herself, he doesn't love himself, they each don't respect themselves, it breeds this toxicity where it starts to become disrespect and belittling from each other. And it's like a war zone. It's unhealthy. And all it does is deteriorate each of you. So I guess my message here is just to have self-love and know your worth. Know that you are enough. Know that if there's something you've been calling in, that you've been working on, that you've been wanting, you need to look in the mirror and understand, am I giving this to myself? Am I doing this for myself? Do I really feel like I am ready? That I am in a place that I can receive and healthily grasp and nurture that sort of a blessing? Because if you're not there, then that's why you're not there. That's why you're not in receipt of what you are trying to call in, because you haven't convinced yourself yet. You haven't done the shadow work. And a lot of people out here want the rewards without the work. It doesn't work that way. You have to do the work. That involves crying, men and women, crying and letting go of the attachment to those fears and the self-sabotage that you're subjecting yourself to, that you're doing to yourself, the things that you are accepting from other people that you don't want for yourself. If you don't want something, do not accept it. It's like a job offer. Someone offers you a job, so to speak, okay? They're paying $10 an hour. No, I'm looking for something that's paying more like 25. Are you going to say, yeah, I'll accept it? Or are you worth the $25 an hour? You know what I mean? Like, you need to know your value. If you don't know your value and you're saying yes to things that do not reflect your value, we got a problem. Not with just that person, but with yourself too. So, I feel like that's all I really have to say on that, really. Like, I hope that was very clear for some of y'all, and that I got my point across, and it wasn't too rambly. This is kind of a long video, but I don't know who needed to hear that, but I'm sure it's a lot of people. It's a lot of people. I'm going to pull a couple of cards. This is my Mother of Peace deck. Okay, a few cards. And I've been really being called to pull from this deck for whatever reason. Oh, shit. I had put this deck up a while ago because it's a beautiful deck, but it can be a lot to take in my opinion, if you're not at a place to take it in, because it's a little more in depth than just the traditional tarot. As you can see, it's a circular card, and depending on the way that it is turned, it can mean different things. It's turned to the left, upright, reverse, to the right. So basically, each card almost has like 4 variations of a meaning. But let's see what we have. So we've got 7 of discs, 3 of discs, 2 of cups, practically in reverse, 5 of wands, Son of discs, the Judgment card, the Fool, and the Crone. So off the bat, there's very heavy earth energy here, even with the Cups card. I'm just taking it in. And it's funny that this Fool card comes up, because this image of the Fool upside down and working from a new perspective, looking at things, not just working and walking in a new perspective, but looking and absorbing things from a new perspective, in a new light, not being so serious. Embarking on new journeys has been something, like, I've been thinking about this card. And actually been entertaining the idea of asking my husband about doing a shoot with this image of the card as an inspiration. But so the Seven of Discs, she's pregnant and she is gazing down at these watermelons that are still connected to the vine, still growing. And she's obviously pregnant. This is an extension of the earth, of what she's been growing, of her work and her fruitfulness. And she is waiting on the birth of her child. Next is the Three of Discs, where there are these women working together to build a wall, and they're climbing up the ladder. Because it's slightly tilted to the left, I feel as though this is a sort of resistance to the work that is needed to get here, to the fruitfulness. And there's a bit of impatience. Kind of similar to what I was talking about. You can't expect results without the work. You have to do the work first. The Two of Cups was in reverse. Two of Cups symbolizes an emotional connection between two people. In reverse, I would say it is symbolic of an imbalance, of a misunderstanding, two people not being on the same page with their emotions, with the way that they feel. With the Five of Wands, also to the left, these women are kind of like dancing, and it looks almost like they're doing ritual work. They're working together and supporting each other. That's kind of like what I feel. This card is kind of scattered to me. But to me, it represents like a change in energy. You're working to change something. You're doing something. It being to the left, again, that shows to me a little bit of a resistance to the work that it takes. Discs is very much in line with earth energy, with money, with your family, with the home. Whereas the Wands is very much about creation and passion and action. So with the 5 and the 3, I feel like there are things that need to be done to work together to bring forth this change. 5 is a number of change. A change in your circumstances, a change in what you're doing in order to birth this child, this goal, this business into your life. Manifestation is another thing that for me, the earth and fire energy heavily symbolizes for me. Son of Discs, this boy is shooting at a target. Goals. What do you want to do with regards to your home, your family, money, your business, your life purpose? Earth signifies the root, where we come from, physically, on this physical world. What are you to do? Your life purpose. It's important you figure that out. Again, I had to stop the video because this message is just like really coming in and longer than I expected. Good thing I haven't been interrupted. But it's important to understand and reflect, call in, ask your guides, God, whatever you believe in, what is my purpose? What am I here to do? And more likely than not, especially if you ask before you go to bed, like ask for it to come to you in the dream realms. If you feel like that would be easier for you to understand and absorb. But a lot of you are feeling like there's something missing in your life. And more often than not, that's due to your purpose. Judgment. The Judgment card to me signifies hope within your life and casting out the things in your life that do not serve you. Figuring out where on your journey you're going. This also leads into the crone. The crone is an older woman of knowledge, of wisdom, a teacher. She's looking at the stars here, and I get this image of Newt. All right, I'm coming. Okay. So, what I was saying was, the Judgment card, the life purpose aspect of what I'm getting right now, for me, or just in my opinion, my interpretation, is that it leads into this aspect of new journeys, being open to taking new steps towards things that are new, that are unknown, unpacking your bullshit and leaving it behind you so that you can move forward in a new light and finding that purpose that makes you feel full, that gives you this greater sense of gratitude. It's not to say that you don't feel fulfilled right now, but just that it does feel like there's something missing, right? Excuse me. And with the crone I was talking about, I'm getting this thought process, which is ironic because I've been getting this thought process. Not ironic. I don't believe in coincidences, but I've been having this same thought process for myself. With the crone, she's a teacher. So who is there in your life that you can go to or hire? Because you have to think, if you don't know them, or even if you do, their wisdom, their ability to help and support you is worth the investment. Invest in yourself. Invest in a mentor or a teacher if you feel called to do so. And that's really all I have for you guys. I feel like this whole video was very, very good. I really hope that it helped or spoke to someone. If I help one person with this, that's all I care about. I don't care about anything else. This message won't be for everybody, but I feel like it was very accurate for quite a few people. Whether that be today when I post this or be 5 years from now. So I wish you all peace and healing, introspection, blessings, and I hope that you guys have a wonderful evening.